Foundations of Amateur Radio. Have you ever been on air and in the middle of a wonderful discussion that all of a sudden and often unexpectedly erupts into a heated argument about nothing? One of those conversations that came to mind was about what the term DX means. I'd been taught that DX means outside the country, and if you're calling CQ DX, I was taught that this means that you're looking for a contact in the next country. So what's the argument? Simple really. In a nutshell, making a contact between Perth and Sydney, nearly 3,300 kilometres apart, is inside one country. But making a contact across the same distance between, say, Amsterdam and Lebanon is about 9 countries away. This really means that for every station, DX has a different meaning. So this DX caper means different things for different people. I've said in the past that I've laughed when a station made a big deal about contacting Japan, when that's something I do regularly. The opposite effect happened when I contacted Cuba. For me, it's a contact on the other side of the planet. For them, it's next door. I asked around for explanations from others what they thought DX meant. Receiving signals and station from remote locations. Long distance, harder to achieve contacts. Doesn't have to be international or frequency dependent. VK2, 3 and 4 to VK6 is DX. Outside of my suburb. Anything hard, I suppose, or anything overseas. The takeaway should be that DXing is an activity that means different things to different people. You could put it down to kilometres or countries. It really doesn't matter. Just be prepared that your measure may not apply to the other station. Ironically, thinking back to one of my earlier on-air experiences, I called CQDX and got a reply that said something along the lines of, "What kind of DX are you expecting?" To which I replied, "Anything I can get." It's put into a different context by the knowledge that DX is not a fixed idea. At the time, I thought that I'd done something wrong and that my activities were somehow incorrect. Checking with the amateurs nearby at the time, it transpired that this wasn't the case. My insight into the variation of something that looks like a simple concept, DX, puts a different light on the subject. I'm highlighting this because I think it's important to understand that when you're on air, you're bringing with you the experiences you have, and you're communicating with others who may or may not share those experiences and understandings, even for something as obvious and common as the concept of DX. It also spurs me on to continue to develop my QSL card. If you sent me one and I've not sent you one back, it's because I'm still very unhappy with the design I've got, and I'm working on something that's more me, more Australia, and captures the essence of the idiosyncrasy that is me. If you're wondering what a QSL card is, think amateur radio postcard. The name derives from something called the Q codes, shortcut names used originally in telegraphy, then by amateurs in Morse, now heard in all general conversation on air. The code QSL means "Can you acknowledge receipt?" when asked as a question, or it means "I'm acknowledging receipt" when used as an answer. The card was named after this as a way to confirm contacts between stations. A QSL card generally contains your call sign, their call sign, the time, the date, the band or frequency, the mode and signal reports of the contact. Some go overboard with whole novels, include general information about the station, perhaps a picture of your friendly face or some other image. Traditionally, interesting locations like, say, Amsterdam Island, activated as FT5ZM, go all out in making their cards, since the location is desirable and the card should be as well. One final comment. To work DX, you need to be on air, so get your station in good working order, turn it on and make noise. Making contacts, local and DX, is about being lucky, and the only way you can do that is by actually being on air and making your own luck. I'm Ono, Victor Kilo 6, Foxtrot Lima Alpha Bravo.